Hi, it's Mr. Bourbon, and welcome back to the Mr. and Mrs. Bourbon channel and our 5-minute whiskey pour, where we tell you pertinent facts about a bottle of whiskey and whether you may or may not want to purchase it. Behind the camera is Mrs. Bourbon. Say hi.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. If you like this video, hit that like button and also hit the subscribe button.
Thanks. So today we're showcasing Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve, which is a Brown-Forman product. And so there's a lot of information on here to go through. So this may go a little bit longer than 5 minutes. On the neck up here, it says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, which if you've seen our Bottled and Bond, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond video, you know what that term means. Continuing on, it has a little bit about the Brown-Forman cooperage, and we know that a cooper is in generic terms, a barrel maker, but they make any sort of vat, tub, cask, whatever that's made from timber staves. So it's a centuries-old craft, and it's really an important part of the bourbon value chain. And so it's really great to see Brown-Forman honor these fine craftsmen. Moving on down the label, we see the name. Again, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. A little bit of the story about the barrel. 100 proof right here, prominently displayed in the middle. And then the DSP KY 354, which a little internet research tells us that is the Early Times Distillery in Louisville. Now, Early Times, the brand was recently purchased by the Sazerac Company, so it's no longer a Brown-Forman brand, but the name of the distillery still is the Early Times Distillery, so wondering if maybe they eventually changed the name. Moving on down, a little bit more about the barrel and the Brown-Forman cooperage. Spinning it around to the back, and we have more story and information about the barrel. So there's a lot, that they've profiled on the barrel, but there's a fair amount of information that you probably want to know about that isn't on the label. So let's go through that. First, it's a non-age stated bourbon, and since it's non-age stated, we know it's at least 4 years old. The mash bill is undisclosed, and it's said to be a slightly different mash bill than the Old Forester mash bill of 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. Said to be have a little more corn, a little bit less rye. I don't know if that's true, but that's from my research. The barrel char, unknown. They list a lot of information about the barrel and cooperage, but they don't tell us what char they use. It is interesting. We'll talk about the color and the viscosity here in a second, but it is dark. But given that it's on a younger side, it's probably 4 to 6 years old, and the fact that it is so dark, I wouldn't even want to guess the barrel char, because Brown-Forman uses a heat cycled aging process in their warehouses. So I really don't know. If you've been on a tour and they've told you, please tell us in the comments, because we'd love to know. Subjectively, I've got a little bit here in the type of glass that I like, this type. It's, I would say, close to a 1.6 on the color scale. So a mahogany in color. The viscosity, it's nice. It's got some good oil on the side. So just even looking at it, I can tell it's on the thicker side. So again, between the color and the thickness, the barrel story really seems to be backed up in what you're getting here, especially for $30. So the Brown-Forman website lists out, if you go on there, the smell, the taste, and the finish. And if you know in these videos, we don't go through a lot of that on these. We do that more in our reviews. But if you go to their website, you're going to read a lot about smell, taste, finish, a lot of cinnamon, vanilla wafer, some citrus. And I could tell you, I would agree with that. A little bit of caramel, I would agree. There's definitely a spicy note, which we'll talk about here in a second. But again, if you've had it, and tell us what you get through the smell, taste, and finish. Do you agree with what Brown-Forman says or not? From a price and availability, this is a $30 MSRP, and that's what we got it for. I like to measure on a price per ounce, so this is about $2.35 for a two ounce dram. And from an availability standpoint, we'd rate this around a 4. It's pretty common. You're not going to find it in every liquor store, but you should be able to get it without too much trouble. So now to the why you may like it or why you may not. It is $30, so it won't break the bank, so that's a definite like. In addition, at 100 proof, I can see it really being appreciated by those that like a bit more boldness in their bourbon, but don't want that high proof, that 120 proof. This is 100, so it's not, an 80 proof, but it does drink, I would say, bolder, a little spicier than 100 proof. And at $30, that's really nice. I love the deep color, I really do, and it's got a really nice finish on it, which I really do appreciate as well. So a lot of pros, a lot of things going for it. I do like the Cooper's story, but that gets to one of the things that I don't like quite so much either, and I'll tell you about that in a second. So from a drinkability standpoint, why you may not want to purchase this is it is spicy. And if you're someone who doesn't like a spicy profile, I could see you really not liking this. It's very forward on the taste, very bold. And I think Brown-Forman profiling cinnamon prominently in the description is pretty apt because it is spicy. And then number two, it does tell a lot about the cooperage and the barrel. I would like to have seen maybe a little less story and more facts. Because to be honest, we probably wouldn't have purchased this if we hadn't known two things. Number one, it's a Brown-Forman product, so we know it's a high-quality product. And two, we've seen some other reviews. People do reviews, and it's very well thought of. So those two things, that's what sold it, not so much what's on the label. So again, I think it is at $30 a good buy, especially if you like that spicy profile. Some alternatives from Brown-Forman. They do have a lower proof, lower priced offering of the Cooper's Craft. It's about $5-10 cheaper than the $30 bottle. So there's that. Old Forester, we've mentioned that. I love Old Forester product. I think it's fantastic. One of my favorites. The Woodford Reserve, the official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby, is a Brown-Forman product. And lastly, there's some whiskey they do down in Tennessee in Lynchburg. It has a black label. I think I've heard. I think it's called Jack Daniel's. That's a Brown-Forman product. So Brown-Forman, huge company. They do a lot of other spirits as well. And I think this is a winner. I think this is one that if you see it for $30. Again, if you like more of that spicy profile, this is definitely one to pick up. So thanks again. We're going to cross-post the fact sheet on our Instagram account, so look for that. And we're going to be coming back at you soon with another 5-minute whiskey pour. Thanks, and we'll be seeing you.